Hey YouTube, Yu-Gi-Oh! Galaxy, and I wanted to do a video for you guys on how I feel you should be side decking for this current format. I don't own every card that I'm going to talk about, but just follow with me. Now, the top 5 decks, in my opinion, are E-Dragon's Prophecy, Evil Swarm, Mermail, and then potentially anything. Macro Rabbit and Inzektor, I feel, are the two strongest candidates for that, but I'm going to get into how I think you can hurt those decks and potentially some other rogue decks. Fossil Dyna. This is for essentially E-Dragons and potentially Mermails. I wouldn't play this against Mermails, but I guess if you don't have anything to side for Mermail, you could side Dyna. This card is just really good because against the E-Dragon matchup, it essentially shuts them down. They'll essentially need to open with Dark Hole or one of the two baby dragons that can actually attack over this. So the odds are, I think, 1/10 of the time they'll be able to deal with this without committing too much to the board. A little bit more than 1/10 because I'm not counting Dark Hole. Next up, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. This card is good against Prophecy. This card is good against E-Dragons. This card is good in general. This is not Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. It's Kaiku the Format Destroyer. It's just really good in that regard. It just does everything. Next up, Vanity's Emptiness. Now, Vanity's Emptiness is kind of like Fossil Dyna, except that you essentially, it can get kind of screwed over by MST or Dark Hole much easier than Fossil Dyna can, because with Vanity's Emptiness, again, if you're going to play this against E-Dragons and you have a Fossil Dyna, flip this after they get rid of your Dyna, because it's just good. Next, Imperial Iron Wall. This card is really good against E-Dragons, because it essentially makes them have to open with a baby dragon in the opening turn, which isn't optimal at all to begin with, and it makes them commit, or an MST, but it makes them commit resources that they could burn on something else that could hurt them more. Next, how do you side deck for Prophecy? Well, you could side deck cards like Thunder King Ryo, because they abruptly slow the deck down, and that's good. You could also side cards like Macrocosmos. Macrocosmos hits Spellbook of Fate, Spellbook of the Master, and Spellbook Grand Tower, which is really good when you can eliminate potentially 6 cards from their deck. You can also side cards like Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer to make cards like Priestess's Effect not able to be used, as well with Imperial Iron Wall. These cards are all good side deck cards against them. A couple of the cards I don't have that you can side for Prophecy are cards like Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I'm actually waiting for those. And Droll and Lockbird. EEV against that deck, let's face it, it's game. And Droll and Lockbird it's a very good card because it just slows them down so much, and it gives you that time you need to push and take game. So, yeah. Evil Swarm. How do you side for Evil Swarm? Cards like Penguin Soldier and Snowman Eater are really good against them because they get rid of Ophion without committing really any resources to it. Snowman Eater's just, it's good to pop any monster, and Penguin Soldier, I mean, you can bounce back Constellar monsters. Any deck that exceeds, you can bounce stuff back. You can hit Draco Sack, and that's good. So I feel those can be sided for Evil Swarm. And that's, I don't know too much. Summon Limit, I guess, because it hurts like every single deck ever made, because it's just so good. Yeah. Mermail. How can you side for Mermail? Cards like Macrocosmos essentially kill that deck. So if you can side Macrocosmos against them, I would recommend doing it. If you have room in your side deck, of course. Soul Drain. This just stops effects from going off from the grave, which is also very good. It makes for some strong play against them. Other cards, I don't think you can. No, nothing else here is good against them, really. And I can't think of too much else. I mean, D-Fissure is good against them. That's about it. Heavy Storm. Why would you side deck Heavy Storm? You can side deck Heavy Storm because a lot of decks aren't playing back row at all. And if you do come across a back row heavy deck that you just are having a tough time with, I mean, Heavy Storm can be a card you side in to have an out against their open with, like, ridiculous everything. Royal Decree. Evil Swarm side a lot of traps in. So, of course, you can use cards like Royal Decree to just stop them from being able to stop you, which is really good. It makes you have essentially a very good matchup. Other decks. Dino Rabbit, just side cards like Imperial Iron Wall, potentially Summon Limit, maybe Vanity's Emptiness. Just ways to stop the deck from going off first turn. Other decks, Inzektor really can't deal with cards like Macrocosmos, and those are and potentially Fiendish Chain. So those are cards you can side against them. Chaos Dragon's pretty generic. You can side cards like Macro, Imperial, Summon Limit. Those cards really hurt that deck because they want to go off and they can't. Are there any other decks? I can't think of any other decks right now. They're really too relevant. So, thanks YouTube, and that's all.